Arab Modern Architecture and the Project of Independence, edited by Nadi Abusaada and Wesam Asali. Architecture in the Arab region today must grapple with numerous challenges. Unprecedented physical and demographic expansion, the deterioration of ecological systems, the continued militarization of cities, and the erasure of historical districts cherished in collective memory. Confronting these challenges poses a significant conundrum, though the architectural community expected to address all of them is often at a loss for effective responses. Critical questions arise in the Arab region about the role of architects in society, the potential of architecture to address socio-political realities, and the insights that can be gained from alternative spatial practices outside the traditional architectural profession. While many of these questions specifically address contemporary challenges, they are not entirely new. Many of the concerns emerged as the architectural profession became more formalized in the modern era, particularly around the shift from the 19th to the 20th century. They became especially pressing as several Arab countries sought independence from colonial rule and entered a new era of post-colonial nation building. Although this era witnessed significant architectural and urban transformation, it remained an overlooked chapter in the architectural history of the Arab world until recently. Modernity, with its relatively ambiguous architecture, posed a historiographical challenge, as it did not fit neatly within European and traditionalist understandings of the built environment of the Arab region. In this book, we argue that it is precisely because of this ambiguity and cross-geographical, albeit unequal, exchange that this era is worth examining from an architectural perspective. We understand modernity not as simply imported, but as encompassing a self-conscious desire for change within the Arab world that spanned social, cultural, and political realms as well as architecture. For intellectual and social historians of the region, the project of modernity in the Arab world is often referred to as the Arab Nada, Renaissance, a period of intellectual flourishing that did not merely imitate Western thought, but was also autogenetic. It was the cultural manifestation of a political quest for independence, self-determination, and regional unity. In this book, we ask, where does architecture sit within this broader project of Arab modernity? The book aligns with a broader movement of architectural scholarship to re-evaluate the modern history of architecture from a global perspective, examining how the transition from colonialism to independence influenced architectural production worldwide. By emphasizing the global mobilities that facilitated the transmission of architectural concepts, models, and skills throughout the 20th century, scholars have expanded modern architectural and urban historiography beyond the Western-centric canon, creating a more inclusive global narrative. However, this global history is still often told through the experiences of American and European architects, highlighting their profound influence on the rest of the world during the 20th century. This is particularly true in the Arab world, where Arab architectural agents, institutions, and networks are frequently overlooked or overshadowed by their Western counterparts. This book extends an invitation to scholars to delve into the overlooked narratives of Arab architectural thought and practice, considering concurrent Western influences, but also looking beyond them. It explores architecture's relevance within the broader aspirations for social, political, and economic independence in the modern Arab world. As scholars from the region, we are deeply immersed in these ongoing dialogues. these questions are not mere theoretical exercises for us. They are firmly rooted in practical work conducted on the ground. The book arrives at a pivotal moment in the region, marked by a surge in collaborative efforts to document and re-evaluate the modern architectural and urban history of the Arab world. Notably, this surge in interest does not always originate from official bodies or national archives. Instead, it largely arises from the efforts of independent institutions and collectives. In Beirut, the Arab Center for Architecture, led by George Arbid, had been at the forefront of archiving modern architectural heritage in Lebanon and the broader region. The Arab Centers for Architecture work extended to the curation of the 2015 Bahrain Pavilion at the Venice Biennale and the 2023 Sharia Architectural Triennial, both addressing this topic from a regional perspective. Other initiatives with a similar desire for archiving modern architectural heritage include the Mémoire des Architectes Modernes Marocains in Morocco, Cairo Observer and the Regional Architecture Collection at the American University of Cairo, the Modern Sudan Collective in Khartoum, and the Modern Syrian Architecture Archives in Damascus. Several authors in this book are directly involved in these initiatives. Remarkably, desire for collaboration among these initiatives is growing. Just as regionalism has historically played a pivotal role in shaping the experience of architectural and cultural modernity in the Arab world, architects and researchers in the region continue to recognize the importance of transnational exchange in the documentation, study, and analysis of Arab architecture. One initiative that both of us have been involved in funding and running over the past few years is Arab Urbanism, a global network of architectural and urban scholars and practitioners dedicated to the Arab world, established in 2018. One of the primary aims of Arab Urbanism is to serve as a regional platform for forming and enhancing the bonds among the region's architectural and urban initiatives. This book is informed by our research endeavors and our involvement in this regional project. It also follows two international symposiums we co-organized at MIT and Princeton University in 2021 that focused on the architectural profession in the Arab world. The majority of the contributions in this book are based on papers presented during these two conferences. The topics discussed at the two symposiums, as well as the book's chapters, point us to a fundamental issue for architecture in the modern Arab world: the nature of the interplay between architects, architecture, and the growing quest for independence throughout the region. In the book's title, we refer to this quest as the project of independence. This choice is mainly derived from temporal considerations. While many histories of architecture in the Arab world treat the colonial and post-colonial periods separately, this book bridges these two historical moments. The aim is to reveal not only the ruptures that came with the nominal end of British and French colonial rule in countries like Morocco, Egypt, and Syria, but also the architectural continuities after independence. These continuities are perhaps best exemplified by the ongoing involvement of French and British architects who were active in Arab countries during the Mandate years and continued their work post-independence. A primary example is French architect Michel Cochard, whose work in Syria and Morocco are discussed in chapters by Faisal Tabara and Labib El-Moumni, respectively. However, acknowledging these continuities should not lead us to underestimate the significant changes that ensued in the architectural profession after independence. As several chapters in this book show, this was a time when a pioneering generation of Arab architects emerged, interested in forging their own visions for the future of their cities and lived environments after independence. Their projects, both successful and failed, attest to the ongoing relevance of the struggle for independence and resistance against cultural, political, economic, and technical dependence in shaping the region's experience of architectural modernity.